Welcome back to Investing with Confidence, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. And Online Trading Academy, on their 25th year, teaching people just like you how to get in these financial markets, the stock market, options market, futures, Forex, how to get started if you're brand new, or if you're in the market and just want to do different things with your 401ks or IRAs. And we have investing classes at our local academies. So text right now, get your phones ready, text the word investing to the number 210-210. That's investing to the number 210-210. You're going to receive a text back, and there's going to be a couple options in there for you to pick a date that works for you on your schedule for this free investing class at our local academies. Text investing to the number 210-210. And I just want to make sure our listeners know, I was doing some singing on that last segment. I will not be singing at these classes. I know we might have some scouts out there for these record labels. It might be searching on a high sound.
No, I actually think I can hear some cheering by cars that are driving by. I think when you said I will not be singing, I actually heard cheering.
Yeah, when I was singing, I actually heard cats meowing. They thought it was like a call or something.
Dogs barking.
So I will not be singing. So we will talk about the financial markets. That is a promise in these investing classes. So Al, in that last segment, you talked about short-term income strategies. I was actually having some conversations with some friends last week when I was out of town, and they were talking a lot about, I'm tired of that rat race. I'm tired of going to work every single day, working for the man and doing what they need me to do, and they were tired of it. And that's what I think a lot of people are tired. It's not easy, going into work every single day. Some people work super early, get up at 4, 5, 6 a.m., and they work all day long. And they don't really have time for themselves. They don't have time for their families or their loved ones or some of the things that they want to do. And it's not cheap to do some of those things, traveling, stuff like that. So we've talked a lot about, what are some options out there that people have? People have, you can get a second job, which actually takes more of your time. So if you're working during the day and you get that second job in the evening, well, then you're stuck and you're gone again from your family. So we talked about different options there. There's an option with trading and investing that people have. And when you have an income strategy with trading and investing, a lot of people think you have to be glued to your computer all day long when you trade and invest. That's not the case. And I want you to pull back the curtain a little bit on how that really works with trading and investing. So that way people can still have an income strategy and let their money work for them, not work for their money. So how do you help people create that income strategy through the financial market and have different choices in their life?
There are like 40 different questions there. Let's go.
Choose wisely.
All right. Well, a number of things that you mentioned there I think are important. People don't have a lot of extra time. And people think that you have to sit in front of a computer all day long and that this is a time-consuming thing if you're going to be controlling your own assets. People that sit in front of a computer all day long end up with one of two things. Either they end up totally blowing their accounts because the emotions are there when you're watching something on a regular basis, or they are a candidate for an early heart attack because of the extra stress.
Yeah.
You should not be spending a lot of time in front of your computer. You should be able to do this, have a strategy that you use that allows you to put something together in a matter of just a few minutes, maybe. Maybe if you are going to do this every day, maybe you only devote an hour or so to doing it. You do not have to put a lot of time into it to manage what you're doing.
Just to clarify, it's not, you do 2 seconds of research. We got to make sure our listeners get the right expectation. You do have to work for this, but you dictate your time based on the strategy that you use.
Yeah, and there are assets that you can use, you have access to that trade almost 24 hours a day. So if you're working during the 6.5 hours of the stock market, you don't have to worry about just devoting your time or missing out because you can't devote that time. There are futures and Forex trade basically 24 hours a day. And think about it. Do you think that when the market is going down that everybody is losing, or are there some people that actually make money in a down market? If your answer to that question is, yeah, I think people make money in a down market, wouldn't you be upset if the things that they're doing are easily accessible to you, but you're not being taught about them? No one is telling you about them. That's what we do. We tell you about these things. The two of the biggest questions that we get now, Josh, are, I don't know how to protect my portfolio. How do I do that? And how do I benefit in a down market? Well, if you come to one of these free classes, we'll tell you how we do that. We'll talk about how you have access to exactly the same thing that the successful people are doing out there.
Yep.
And well, here, it really comes down to this. If you want to be successful at anything, follow the money. Just follow the money.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The people that are successful have the money. How do they get the money? How do they become successful?
But who are those people?
Well, it's unfortunately for most people, it's not the public. It's the big institutions. We're the Wall Street institutions, hedge fund managers, big players. People know about Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is very successful. The great thing for us is that what they're doing is not only available to us, but they help us by showing us what they're doing. And the strategy that we teach our students, which is our core strategy, it's a defined strategy, a defined system that has you following a set of rules, a step-by-step process that guides you to decisions that put the odds in your favor and helps you identify high-reward, low-risk entries. The goal basically is to follow the money, find the people that are successful, use what they're showing us because they're telegraphing to us what they're doing on a price chart. We teach you how to read a price chart much like a radiologist would read an x-ray. Everything you need to know is on a price chart. That company or that asset is telling you a story. If you know how to read it, that's what we do. We teach you how to do that. You had mentioned once before that people try to maybe time the market on their own and end up not doing it because they haven't been taught properly, and you've probably been told you can't do that. Our core strategy is a timing strategy that shows you how to, with a high degree of accuracy, identify it's basically the difference between the buyers and the sellers. It's that relationship between buyers and sellers. If you can identify where that impacts the price of something on a price chart, you can participate with it. And that's exactly what our core strategy does.
Yeah, and I was teaching one of these investing classes that you were referring to not long ago. And I always ask people, who wants to beat Wall Street? And everybody always raises their hand. I'll tell you what, there's a newsflash here. We cannot beat Wall Street. It takes, as Al was talking about, the big money moves the market. So we can't beat them. That old saying, if you can't beat them, join them. And that's what our strategy is designed to do is follow what those institutions are doing, the big banks, because they move the market. And we're kind of like a mouse. And we're taking pieces of the cheese as they are moving the market. That's what it's designed to do. So you have to have a strategy that's designed to follow what they're doing and do what they do. And that's what our core strategy is designed to do, as Al's talking about, is follows institutions, makes smart investing decisions, which is based off of supply and demand. And that can't be modified. That can't be changed. That's the law of supply and demand. And that's what we talk about in these investing classes is what are the opportunities that are available to the public, us, the retail person, and how can we do that in a manner where you're protected and, as you said earlier, have the odds in your favor, which is where to get into positions with low risk, high reward, and high probability entry points in the financial markets, which is at or typically near a turn in price. And that's what we are going to be identifying on a price chart, as Al is talking about. And Al, in these investing classes, you really explain that, and you're able to show how that's done in a nice way where it's understandable. Because a lot of people think the financial markets is this crazy big world, which it is. But we like to simplify that. Right. Simplify that for people that are new to the markets. Maybe they're just in the market, but not actively trading and investing themselves. So you have to, show them how that's done in step-by-step processes, which is what you do in these investing classes. So I have some tickets for this investing class that we do in our local academies. If you're listening to the show, we have a class near you. Get your phones ready because you're going to be texting a number in and a word into a number for some free tickets, plus a financial quick start kit that will help you get started right away. So text right now. Text the word investing. That's investing to the number 210-210. That's investing to the number 210-210. The first 10 people, we're going to give those that financial quick start kit that actually includes some free stock picks in there. So that's a pretty cool deal there. So you mentioned earlier, people are looking for income strategies, and there's a couple 24-hour markets that are really good for people that maybe don't have a ton of money, because they want to be able to invest, but they want to be more capital efficient.
Right.
Talk about those two leveraged assets that are open around the clock. That gives people the opportunity to have income strategies at night.
Okay, before I talk about those, Josh, I just want to talk about why it's so important to know them and to be able to use them. Being alive is not free. The cost
Really?
of being alive is there. It's there. You have to have a place to live. You have to have food. You have to have transportation. And all of those costs just got extremely more expensive with inflation growing the way it has been growing. We're 8.6% is pretty significant compared to what we've been used to. And then we need to look at what the market is going to be giving us going forward. And there's a lot of people out there that still think, or there are a lot of people out there that still think that we've got another 30 to 50% to go. Some people 10, 15% to go on the downside. But pretty much the consensus is that the market is going to be pretty much flat for quite some time. So maybe if you've been relying on investments before to provide some additional income for you, you might not be able to rely on that because the markets are going to be flat. Some people think down over the next year or so.
So we got about another minute here. Talk about those assets.
Okay, so futures and Forex are leveraged assets. They are short-term trading assets, which means that you can get into and out of them on a short-term basis. If you are looking for additional income now, you have to use something that is short-term. Futures, you're looking at the major stock markets. You're looking at commodities, precious metals, gold, silver, oil, currencies.
Don't
Huge,
forget my favorite.
lean hogs.
There you go.
We got to cover the lean hogs, which gives you the opportunity to have true diversification with things that are not correlated to each other or maybe negatively or inversely correlated. The foreign exchange market, you might have heard that referred to as the Forex market. You're looking at the difference in exchange rates between two different currencies. Both of those trade essentially 24 hours a day. Leverage anywhere from 20 to 1 to maybe over 100 to 1, which means every dollar you have could control as much as $50 to $100 worth of an investment.
So what does that really mean, though? Let's just say an investor has $2,000 in the Forex market.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 50 to 1, what can they control?
That gives you the opportunity to potentially control $100,000 worth of a Forex trade.
So that's pretty good buying power then.
That is huge buying power. It allows a lot of people that don't have a lot of money to participate in a much higher valued investment. It also provides the opportunity to choose when you want to trade it.
Yeah.
And then also both futures and Forex have a great tax advantage that could potentially save you thousands of dollars a year if you're an active trader.
Yeah, and that's versus the stock market, which is you basically keep more of your money. And Al, you really dissect that in these investing classes that you teach as far as what's the leverage that's out there, what's available, and how do regular people utilize that? You know, with the stock market, it takes a lot of money. I mean, with stocks, if you have less than 25 grand, you want to trade more than 4 times per week, you're stuck at 4 times because it's the pattern day trader rule.
Exactly. You can't get around that. That is a rule.
Futures and Forex, you can trade as many times a day as you want with that.
Right.
But also it allows investors to use less capital because you have that leverage, that buying power. And that's a great thing about these other assets. But as you say every single week, you're not counseled on that. You're not taught that. Your broker's not telling you. They're doing it. Those companies are doing it, but they're not putting you in those great investments. So you just got to learn how to do things a little bit differently, but do things yourself. I think a lot of our listeners are do-it-yourselfers. Learn how to do this yourself. Learn how to trade it and invest for yourself because you will have your best interest. Learn these strategies at these investing classes at Online Trading Academy, actually on their 25th year, teaching people these skills of trading and investing and different techniques. If you're brand new to the markets, or if you've been trading for many, many years. So get your phones ready. We're going to do a text here for 2 tickets for an investing class at our local academy. I teach these. Al, you teach these as well. Text right now. Text the word investing to the number 210-210. That's investing to the number 210-210 for 2 free tickets. You're also going to receive a quick start kit, which will help you get started right away. Al, coming up next, we talked a lot in that first segment about retirement accounts. We're seeing a lot of things go down right now. People want to learn more. Let's pull back the curtain on these 401ks and IRAs and help people make better decisions in those retirement accounts, hopefully to keep more of what they have. Coming up next, retirement accounts. This is Josh and Al, Investing with Confidence. We'll be right back.